he who is without sin cast the first stone. There's more than people talking about gay people in the Bible. Who you marry, who you have kids with, when you have a kid, the job you choose to take, Jesus, the profession you choose. These are very important things that you should be discussing with your kids.
Do not have kids.
All I'm gonna say is it's coming.
Welcome to the That's Scary with Meloney P podcast. I'm your girl, Meloney P, and we are here to have a conversation, y'all. You know, we start every episode with a mental health check-in, and I got a motherfucking check-in for you. Excuse my language. When I tell you the first week in 2026 kicked my ass, okay? 2026 so far. Now let me be more specific, okay? The first week in 2026, how was it for me? It was stressful, and it was stressful work-wise. And I'm gonna be honest with you, y'all. Raw, transparent is what I thrive and the pillars of this show, and I gotta keep it a buck. Corporate America. Me and my friends have been having conversations about corporate America all motherfucking week, okay? And I'm gonna insert a clip here.
Okay, so really quick question to the people that have been on anxiety medication. Why y'all didn't tell us? Especially if you're a black woman. Why you didn't tell me, sister? I'm on day 3. I need to go take my medicine, but I just started taking anxiety medication 2 days ago. And in my brain, because my doctor was like, yeah, it's going to take about 4 to 6 weeks to like fully be in your system, like da-da-da-da, regulate, da-da-da-da-da. So in my brain, I don't know why, but I calculated that, I'm not going to feel a difference until like week 4, week 6. No, ma'am. I took that pill 2 days ago, and on the very first day, within about 30 minutes, I could give a damn about anything. Y'all mean to tell me, and for the people who don't need medication, you just live a normal, clear life with like your race and thought, you don't even have that? My mind was so clear, I thought it was weird. I experienced stressful situations, but when I tell y'all I could give a damn.
So my friend had sent me this video clip, and she had just happened to send it to me at a time where I'm like, damn, do I need to get on a daily little medication? Because the way that I'm sitting at my desk, crying, heart racing, panicking, anxiety, stress because of work. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I happened to call one of my good friends, and I was telling him, I'm like, yeah, look at this clip, because this clip is crazy. Like, everybody in the comments talking about how they don't know what they would do without this medication. And he's like, yeah, I'm on like two or three different medications I take every day just to be able to numb myself to get through the day. And I said, I know you lying. There is something truly, truly wrong with the fact that we as Americans, like if you look at the comments on that video, let's read some of the comments on this video. I have to. I had to stop taking mine because I kept forgetting about my bills. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's sertraline. Sertraline is Zoloft. We tried, but y'all listen to the elder when they said just pray about it. Let's go with Lexapro. I started ADHD meds last week and said the same thing. I was like, where are my thoughts? I mean, if you look at the comments, I'm gonna put this damn clip, I'm gonna put this link in the motherfucking description. And when you look at the comments, we are doomed. Not really, but we're kind of doomed. My friend said it perfect. Okay. He said only in the USA, but in a lot of countries, 5 consecutive day, 40-hour a week plus work weeks ain't even a thing. And so what's happening in America is we are having to, if you could just reach your hand out to people at your job, 5 out of 6 of those people are on a medication just to get through the day. Just to stop from beating somebody's ass, one of these damn, coworkers or managers who think that they're just, who are just toxic. Everybody is on a medication. And so back to my mental health check-in. Fucked. Worst week was fucked. Every day. Now again, everything outside of work, perfect. Living the dream. Everything outside of work is perfect. Now, we'll say my man had a real stressful work week too. And so 2 people having stressful work weeks, that was a lot. That was a lot, honey. That was a lot. And it all boils down to work. If you look back at several videos ago, my last job was very, very toxic to the point to where I had to go out on FMLA. My doctor put me on Zoloft. I have a whole video about it. And I have never been on a daily medication in my life until then. And I was having to medicate myself in order to be able to get through work days. And at that time, I was in a very toxic relationship, toxic work environment. And so now it's like, for the first week in January, every single day, I'm going through 8 hours a day and my heart is racing. I'm panicking, and it's a lot that goes into it, but like, it's just a lot that I'm not going to get into. But that's just my mental health right now, and I'm keeping it a buck. Corporate America is very scary. And the fact that I'm having to think about getting on a daily medicine only for work, ain't nothing else. Everything else is good. I'm not stressed. I'm not depressed. I'm not nothing. But it's so much. I have so much work to do at work. And I'm just like, what the fuck? What am I gonna do? I don't think I'm gonna get on meds again. I just don't want to. I have heard that it can mess up your sex drive and your sex wetness, and I don't want to deal with that. Okay. And I pray to God that it doesn't get to that point. Unfortunately, I'm having to work on the weekends to kind of just catch up. And I'm praying about it. At the end of the day, my mama gave me some scriptures, and if you want the scriptures, let me know. She said to post these scriptures up at your desk if stuff is going wrong or stressing you at work, and then those things will disappear. That's all for mental health check-in, y'all. Let's get into these hot topics of the freaking week, y'all. And we have a very interesting social media question of the week, and we have a special guest who's going to be joining us to discuss and answer that social media question of the week. So let's get into these hot topic. Y'all, there's a lot of crazy shit going on in the Black church community, from Donnie McClurkin and his, allegations, to all these disgusting pastors, male Black pastors, who have talked so negatively about Dr. Bryant, Pastor Jamal Bryant's wife. Now listen, you don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with people, but you don't have to call somebody a name and call somebody's wife a whore or whatever these people are calling them. So I'm going to play this clip. And we're going to watch it and we're going to discuss.
A preacher presented his wife the other day, and I guess you call that a flesh-colored dress. I don't know. It's black dress and flesh color. It gives the illusion that she's not wearing anything underneath. And I heard the preacher, when he defended her dress, by saying, first of all, he bought the dress, and then he said, I want to address people who don't know anything, who haven't been anywhere, who don't know nothing. So I guess our objection to a of the cloth presenting his wife in public looking like a $2 whore. A preacher present two, at least two. Now, I didn't say she was. I'm not talking about her. My statement is not about her. My statement is about him. I said he presented his wife, and he said he bought the dress.
I bought her the dress. And then silly women tell me, amen, falling on her. I'm like, you stupid women, y'all next. Right. Cause the way silly women grinning, if you're grinning at that kind of stuff, you next. The church has fallen so far now that a pimp, a bisexual like Jamal Bryant, and his no good wife, his second wife, amen, she's no good either, wore that dress, I talked about it last week, wore that dress with her tail out, whether it's a flesh dress or not. But here's the wicked thing. The church has fallen so far that Christians think it's funny that they've used the internet and AI to put my pastor in a dress. Now, one thing I know he ain't, and that's a faggot. And I know we got new members in here, but let me go old school, because see, I probably ran y'all back in the day, but my pastor won't no faggot.
Let's start with the first man. He says he tries to save himself by saying that, I'm not calling her a whore, I'm calling the dress she wore a $2 whore. Like, and then we have this man saying the F word, faggot this, faggot that. And you are men of the cloth, using your pulpit to refer to a woman or her dress as a whore, and then to say, talk about faggots in the pulpit. But you should be saving souls, but you're so busy literally talking about this woman and calling her husband a pimp. I'm gonna tell you something. Like, the biggest thing for me that is so scary is karma. I feel like we all have to deal with karma. Be careful of the seeds you sow, because them seeds are going to produce, okay? The seeds are going to produce. But that's just for us, regular people. But when it comes to pastors who sit behind the pulpit and use the pulpit to do and say stuff like how these pastors are doing, not even necessary. It don't even concern them. His wife don't concern them. The dress don't concern them. If he a pimp or not, it don't concern them. And it's disgusting, because at the end of the day, if you think somebody is gay and you think gay is wrong, you think calling them out on your pulpit is going to help? You think sitting there and having people snippet the stuff that you're saying, the most negative, disgusting thing that you're saying about God's children, is going to be bringing souls to God? It's not. It is literally turning souls away. And so for regular niggas like us who have to deal with karma, okay, that's one thing. But for those who feel like they're called by God to sit behind a pulpit and to say and do things that will make people run from the church, it is mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing, and it is very, very scary. It is very, very scary. And it's very, very ignorant. It's very, very just all the things that are negative is what it is. You know, a dress causing that much controversy, and it really gives old school church. It gives old school church. Now, Donnie McClurkin, he was also all up in the news, allegedly. I'm not going to talk about this here for the most part, but he was in the news recently for allegations that he, you know, sexually assaulted someone. It's all alleged. But see, nobody's talking about that in the pulpits. We're talking about a woman, a wife wearing a dress that is flesh colored or skin tone dress. Y'all talking about that. It's so disgusting. And I just feel like it's so irresponsible. I think it's so awfully and disgustingly irresponsible as a church leader to be sitting here referring to anybody or anything that someone is wearing that has nothing to do with you as a whore. Number one, there should be better ways to say it. Number two, if you feel like this man is doing something negative or his wife is doing something negative, then as a man of God, as someone who is called by God, go to them, pray for them, talk to them, help heal them, lead them to something better. But it shows that this shit is not of God. It's not of God. Everybody always want to forget about he who is without sin cast the first stone. So you calling somebody gay, you calling somebody a pimp, what are you, sir? Let's go on to the next thing, because this has me very much pissed. Now, staying in the holy shit segment of the show, I don't know if I like that segment name. That seems very blasphemous. Y'all let me know down below. Like, I know people say that, but holy shit sounds pretty scary to me as a segment name. But let's listen to what this man is saying, this pastor is saying, because pastors are, look, let's just listen to the thing.
In here to get a glory seed. Hurry, get a glory seed. Get a glory. Empty your checking account out. Empty it out. This is a glory seed. Shout glory seed. Shout glory seed. See, you've been given offerings. Offerings are lightweight. Glory carries the weight. Offerings are lighter than glory. Get the glory seed. Come on, quickly. Don't even hesitate. Get it, pop up right now.
This is very scary to me. A clip is circulating online that shows David E. Taylor urging members of his congregation to give what he calls a glory seed, going as far as encouraging them to empty their bank accounts as an act of faith. What are y'all thoughts about this? As a child of God, I definitely believe in having faith, believing things, saying, you know, out of the mouth speaks power, moving in faith, manifesting the things, you know, but saying things and doing things as they are so, because you believe in the word, you believe in God. But I don't know about this one. In this economy, and I feel like I can say right now that what I'm saying may be hypocritical, but I feel like telling people in this economy to empty their bank accounts and give it to the church, when in some cases these same churches wouldn't even give a woman a can of formula when she asked for it for her hungry child. I don't know how I feel about this. Now, again, I believe in offering. I believe in, you know, sowing seeds in the church. You know, when it comes to like offering and things like that, I'm not gonna sit here and lie that I'm paying my offering 10% of my offering every pay period. Okay, I'm not gonna lie and say I'm doing that. That's something that I'm still trying to work out with what you know what I'm saying, because I feel like people have their own relationships with God. Like, I believe that people have their own relationships with God, and you need to do what you're led to do. And if you're led to give in 10%, if you're led to emptying out your bank account, I guess go ahead and do that. But it's just something about the churches encouraging people to empty their account. Like, why would you empty your account? And I don't think that this man is joking. I don't think that he's being like, he's using a euphemism to say this. I think that he is literally saying he's encouraging people to empty their bank accounts and put it all on the altar for the church. Now let's look at some of these comments. They say, I would have yelled, "It's already empty, Lord. It's already empty, Lord." Next weekend, he'll be pulling up in a Mercedes Benz. Pimping will always be pimping. The blueprint doesn't change. Y'all be following anybody. You first, Pastor. Now that's a good one. You first. So it's like the people in the comments have spoken, and nobody, and it goes to the validity of the church. Again, these first two pastors that we saw, these idiots, God forgive me, Lord forgive me, I shouldn't have said that, but because I'm being like them. But these pastors who are using their pulpit to talk negative about Pastor Jamal Bryant and Dr. Carrie Bryant, it really speaks to the lack of validity with these pastors. Like, look at the people in the comments. The people in the comments are the people that I'm assuming that pastors are trying to reach. They're trying to save souls. That is the number one job of a pastor, is to save souls and to draw people to Christ. And if you even look at the comments, this is all a joke. Because you know why? Because the church unfortunately does not have validity in the eyes of the average person, especially the black church. And so I want to just say that these pastors who are not truly called, y'all need to get out of the way and let the real pastors step up, number one. And number two, the biggest mission right now, I feel like, for the black church needs to be to, and I said this last week, to elevate, to evolve, and to do what has to be done to save souls, and to not cherry pick what you want to believe and not believe, what you want to enforce and not enforce from the Bible. There's more than people talking about gay people in the Bible. And I don't even know where it says that in the Bible about gay people. Just because you are cheating on your wife, or just because you are doing other things, don't make your sin better than a sin of being gay, if you think that's being gay. At the end of the day, child, the churches, I need some good stories from the churches ASAP. I'm a Christian, and I don't want to be a part of nothing that's taking people away from church. Y'all, so my sister-in-law sent me this clip earlier this week, and I gotta be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie. I was actually laughing because I thought that it was a meme. I did not think this was real. Let's look at this video about this single mom who has a child that has autism, and she's really out here struggling. Let's look at this clip and let's talk about it.
If you don't know the possibilities of your chance, the possibility and risk of your kids having Down syndrome, autism, being on the spectrum, cerebral palsy, you know, all the above, do not have kids. So from time to time, I let my son come in here and play with his toys. He was way too quiet. Like, bro, this is the type of shit you gotta deal with. Water on the floor. He put the cashews and water in a blender and poured it on the plate and missed the plate. I'm tired. Every day is something. And then on top of that, me not having help from nobody, having no support system, nobody. He's with me 24/7. If you don't have no support system, if nobody's willing to get your kids and keep them a couple days so you can accomplish stuff, do stuff, get a peace of mind, even for a couple hours, don't have no kids. You know, every day I tell myself, like, this is just too much for me. And then I question myself. And then I just be feeling like he don't even deserve. Like, I try to give him freedom to play in the living room. We already live in a 1-bedroom. I try to, you can see how big my house is. Literally the hallway room, living room. Like, I try to give him the freedom to at least play in his bounce house and play with his toys, but I can't even do that. I ain't had my eyes off of him for long. He kept running back and forth. Sometimes I really feel like God put too much on me that I can't handle it. I can't handle this.
Okay, so let me be honest with y'all. I actually thought that this was like a meme or something like that, because when I see people filming themselves crying, I be thinking, okay, is this real? Like, is this real? And then I talked to my sister-in-law. She was like, she was almost in tears watching it. And then my brother, who don't even like kids, was also almost in tears. I'm thinking, damn, let me watch this shit again. And so watching it again, and I will say on TikTok, the comments were kind of hilarious. I will say, like, they were saying that he was in there trying to make cashew milk, whatever. But here's the thing. She has a point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could not imagine having, and God forbid, I could never imagine having a child who had a disability, you know, like autism or something that, you know, requires a whole lot more than what the already average child requires. And then also not having help. Having a child, you need a support system. In a perfect world, we hope that we're having children with husbands and husbands are having children with wives. We hope that's the case. But obviously things happen and there's no easy, sweet way to put it. Like, we should be living, thriving to a perfect world. Now, I really struggle when it comes to this topic because I personally never would have thought that I would be in a situation where I was not married and having a young child, right? Like, I just never thought I'd be in that situation. I consider myself to be a very smart woman. I make very good choices. Now I'm co-parenting with someone who isn't the best, the easiest to co-parent with. But nevertheless, we are co-parenting. And so we are, you know, there's two parents taking time with the child. I just couldn't imagine being in those shoes where there isn't support. And then on top of not having support, there is a disability that requires even more time. And it goes back to the conversation of mental health. But then it also goes back to the conversation of be careful who you pick to have your kid with. And it's like, we should be knowing on one hand, okay, do I have a mama? Do I have a daddy? Do I have sisters? Do I have cousins? Do I have support system in the event that me and this man that hopefully is my husband don't work out? What does life look like for me if in any event I'm having to raise a child without the other parent? And so it's questions like that I really feel like should be enforced to go. Like, you know, we be having these classes in school. I don't even use algebra. I don't be E squared, nothing. None of my social studies shit. A lot of the stuff that we had to learn in high school has been fucking useless. But some of the life skills and just some of the things that we are inevitably are going to have to go through, these should be things that are taught from a very young age from your parents and in school. And stuff like picking up the appropriate partner, bills, how does it look, you know, for single parent households? How does it look if you're having a child? How does it look if you're having a child young? How does it look if you're having a child with disability? How does it look if you make, you know, $13 an hour versus $50 an hour? Like, these are things that should be fucking discussed in school, not E equals MC squared. You're not going to use it. Like, you're just not going to use it, right? Also, I feel like getting married There should be classes that you have to take in school that talks about relationships, that talks about cohabitating. I say right, you know what I mean. That talks about things that you're going to inevitably have to experience. There should be courses, there should be certificates that you have to earn before you get out of school that talks about things like this, because this is why America is so fucked up. We focus on the wrong shit. We don't focus on healthy food. And I know I'm going off. We don't focus on healthy food. We don't focus on classes in high school that's going to prepare kids to live a sustainable, long, healthy, mental health, positive life. Like, we don't focus on that. And that's why, even as being a parent to a younger child, it's like, I'm talking about these things to my kids, to my daughters, because who you marry, who you have kids with, when you have a kid, the job you choose to take, Jesus, the profession you choose, these are very important things that you should be discussing with your kids immediately. As soon as they can comprehend and put sentences together, have them conversations. Stop sugarcoating shit. Prepare your kids, boys, girls, whoever you have. Prepare your kids. Because we're not preparing our kids for what life can look like based on certain decisions that we're making. If you choose to have a child by somebody, these are the different options and these are the different lanes and avenues that shit can go down. If you choose to marry a nigga or a woman, whatever, these are the different lanes that it could go down. It could lead in divorce. It could lead in this. If you choose to take a job, doing this is what that life can look like. If you choose to not go to college, if you choose to not, it's just, these are conversations that we need to be having with our kids. And it's very unfortunate for this young lady. I feel very, very bad. I'm sure that there's resources that she can tap into. I'm hoping that there are. The good thing about the internet is that there are good people out there. I feel like there's more good people than there are bad people in this world. I pray to God there are. Wishful thinking. And that's one of the good things of social media. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, you got to be careful who you let your kids be around. But on the same token, I pray for this girl. I'm going to pray for her because I didn't pray for her before. But I pray for this young lady, Rainey, right now. We pray for you, God. We pray that God sends the right people, the right community to where you are right now, Rainey. We pray that you have positive right now, wherever you are, Rainey, we pray that God is going to bless you with the community of resources and people that's going to help your situation, God. We pray and believe right now in faith that her mental health is getting better and betterer, because that's my word for 2026. And we just pray right now that things are going to work out in the best possible outcome for you, Rainey, right now. Everybody who knows the word of prayer, pray for this girl. And, this shit ain't even a joke. Okay, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. People are going through shit out here. And you got to be careful of the choices that you choose. Now, this last story is a real itsy bitsy. It's a touchy story that I'm kind of nervous to talk about because let's listen to the tape. Let's listen to the tape.
This officer confronted her for using the women's bathroom at a public library in Tucker, and an internal investigation has now been launched. So here's what Sasha Swinson says happened.
He says, "Excuse me, sir," so misgendering me right away. "You're not a woman. That's obvious."
Swinson says she tried to explain to the officer that they identify as a woman, but claims the officer got angry.
"This is a police matter. There are women and little girls in there, and I have to protect them."
Swinson claims to have emailed library officials the next day, who then reached out to DeKalb County Police. Now, there are no Georgia laws banning transgender people from using bathrooms aligning with their gender identity. DeKalb CEO Lorraine Cochran-Johnson denounces what happened to Swinson and calls it a teachable moment.
Trans woman confronted by officer for using women's restroom at DeKalb County Library. Internal investigation is underway. So I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. This is a very, very touchy story. And the reason is I am a supporter of the LGBTQAI Meloney P community, 100%, right? And what someone does, what they wear, who they identify is, it ain't got nothing to do with me. As long as you ain't hurting nobody or hurting yourself, live your life to the best quality of life you can live. The issue that comes into play with stories like this is not for the innocent people who are a part of the trans community, the LGBTQ community. It's not really, it has nothing to do with them. But unfortunately, we have to be realistic here. And we live in a world where there are a whole hell of a lot of perverts out there, a whole hell of a lot of pedophiles out there, a whole hell lot of whatever the P's and the pervs and whatever the words are out there. And so having daughters, all I'm thinking about is we allow the trans community the freedom to use the bathroom that they identify with. Okay, great. But what's going to happen is that the pervs, the pets, all the P's are going to start also abusing that right. And so now you have little girls, little boys going into restrooms with any and every body. Again, you can have the trans person, the person who honestly to the core identifies as something other than what they, show up as. And that's, that's an option. But then you have all the P's, all the pervs, all the pets that come out, and they're using this freedom that we're giving trans people and they abuse it. And so now you are impeding on other people's boundaries and their safety because you're wanting to basically appease a community, but then you're likely affecting a whole other group of people. It's very, very touchy. I was talking to this with somebody earlier and they made a very good point. The problem is when you are giving someone, these trans people, that community, when you're, wanting to do things to make them feel comfortable, but then you're doing it and then putting other people in danger, you're putting children in danger. You're putting women in danger. You're putting men in danger. And it's not, let me be clear, it's not the trans community, the people who truly identify as something other than what they show up. It's not anything against them, but it's against the people who are going to abuse this right. And so I honestly don't know what's right and what's wrong when it comes to this topic. I just know that I don't think that we are in a place now where we can comfortably say, okay, if you identify as something other than what you show up as, it's okay to use the bathroom as whatever you think you show up as. I just don't think we're there yet. I just really don't think we're there yet. We're just not there. Now, does that mean that we start accommodating, the trans community by having another option? I think that's viable. I think the same way that they have wheelchair ramps, braille for people who are, vision impaired, maybe we do start having another bathroom option, just to make people feel included. It's just so confusing to me. It's just honestly, I honestly in this situation, I don't know what's right and I don't know what's wrong. But I just know that we're not in a place yet to where we can just say that people can just randomly choose who they think they are and then randomly choose a bathroom that they think that they might be, because all it's going to do is open up a can of worms for innocent people who it's not fair that they have to be impacted by, the LGBTQ community. I don't know if it's right. I don't know if it's wrong. I want to hear your thoughts on this one because this was a difficult one for me. But that's kind of where I stand. We're just not there yet. And I just don't think that, and so then it leads the question, well, where do they use the bathroom? And I think the answer to that is you use a bathroom that associates the equipment that you're using the bathroom with to the equipment that you're using the bathroom in. Meaning that if I have a penis, I'm going to go to a penis associated bathroom. If I have a vagina, I'm going to go to a vagina associated bathroom. And that's just where we are with that. We have our social media question of the week. And I cannot find a clip for this, so it's going to be just verbal. And we're going to have a special guest that I'm going to call my man, to give us, his opinion on this topic. So the social media question of the week is it okay in the day that we live in, should a woman approach a man, or should we stick to more traditional values of where women wait for men to approach them? Should women truly exercise their ability to walk their ass up to a man and approach a man? You're out, let's say you a girl, woman, whatever, and you are out, minding your business, and you see a fine man that gets your attention. Should women be in a position to where they should exercise, like, hey, my name is so-and-so, I saw you from across the room, whatever. So we have Michael on the show. Michael, how are you doing?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. How does it feel to like bust your podcast cherry right in real time?
You know something? It feels a little weird. I'm gonna be honest, but yeah, still happy to be here. Still happy to be here.
Happy to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's sweet. So tell me your thoughts about women approaching men. What do you think about women approaching men? Should they do it? Or, you know that we're in this space and in this situation now of like masculine versus feminine. And it's like women want to be men want to be women, all this, that, and the third. Like, should a woman feel comfortable? Now, if you were single, we know you're not, boo, you off the market. But if you were single, would you want, you know what I'm saying, a woman to come out there and talk to you?
If I was single, yes. Ooh. I'm going to say yes. But this is always an interesting conversation in my mind, right? Traditionally, men, we have always been the hunters, right? I think that doesn't match up with today's society, however. Okay. I think, and I'm going to speak in terms only of quality men and quality women. Okay. In my humble opinion, there's way more quality women out there right now than there is quality men. Okay. Whatever leads to those statistics being those statistics, I'm not going to speak on, but I feel like that might be the case nowadays, right? Okay. So where does that leave us? Or where does that leave women who are looking for someone, but not too many guys are approaching, right? So in today's society, I think women almost have to be willing and open to approach guys. You know, if you see a guy that you're attracted to, he looks like he might be a quote unquote catch. I think to a certain degree, the women almost have to turn into the hunters now. What? I do. And that's not to say that should be the norm, but I think if you're an available woman out here, a quality woman, and you're looking for a partner, I think you have to be at least willing to approach a gentleman.
Let me ask you this, because you said that you wouldn't mind if you were single, and let's say it again, you are not, okay? But if you were single, for anybody trying to find him, girl, he is taken. I'm joking. But anyway, so like if you were out here and a woman came up to you, does that not make you look at her any kind of way? Like, why would you not be approaching her? Like, why would you not be approaching her? You're a quality guy.
Wow, that's a good question. It could have just been she didn't catch my eye, not because she wasn't worthy of catching my eye, but maybe my attention was elsewhere, you know, before she approached me, right? So I'm not going to feel some kind of way about her approaching me. Shoot, if she good looking and whatever, I'm going to be flattered that she approached me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And maybe I would not have, even if I did notice her, maybe I would not have approached her. Maybe, and I think guys do this a lot. You see an attractive woman, and a lot of times we assume, oh, she's taken. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it's a great thing, especially nowadays, for a woman to approach a man.
So let me ask you this, right? Because I hear what you're saying, right? And in a perfect world, that's great. A woman approaches you. But do you think, right? Maybe not you, but think about some of these other men. Do you think that a man might look at a woman differently because she, you know, took that first step? And I mean differently, maybe in a negative way, right? Because maybe the man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's so much conversation about women wanting to be men. Women, strong black women, they don't need a man, blah, 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 blah. And so now if we're telling women, and per you, sweetheart, you're saying that women almost have to do it. So like, is that almost like enabling men? Because now they're no longer hunting. They're no longer a lot of quality men per what you're saying. So now women also got to be the hunters too. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's saying a lot. But I would say this, if you're a woman who approaches a guy and he feels some kind of way about it, I think it says more about him than her. If he takes issue with it, then he's probably not a guy who's worthy of her attention anyway.
That was a good one. So I tried to trick you, but that was a good one. That was a good one. That was a good response. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I guess I worry, and worry is probably too strong of a word, but it's like, a lot of men out there are saying like women want to be men, and I'm actually curious to know other men's thoughts about it too, like especially those type of men. But it's like a woman want to be a man, so now a woman about to go up and approach. But I agree. Like I feel like my answer to this question is that I think it's twofold. So I think that a woman can and should approach a man, but not in the same manner that a man would approach a woman. So yeah, I think that there's things that women can do to position themselves near in front with eye contact to a man to give him all the hints. And I feel like if he don't take them hints, then I'm not about to be like, hey, my name is. Like for me personally, if I was out and if I was single and if I was out and I saw a nice attractive man, first of all, like you're gonna be talking to me, like what's going on? But seriously, like I'm gonna be giving you the eye, right? That's a way. I'm gonna be positioning myself to like maybe be near you at the bar, or I'm giving you all the cues. So I kind of thought in the beginning of this that like do it, but I feel like I'm still do it. But I'm leaning more towards give him all of the, cues. And then if you don't respond, then I don't know if that's the man for me. So I guess I'm saying yes, but just different.
Yeah. And something, you said something, approaching, a woman approaching a man and a man approaching a woman, I think looks different anyway. Yeah. I think for a woman approaching a man, all she needs to do is strike up a conversation. She doesn't necessarily need to put herself out there like, hey, I'm digging you, whatever. Just strike up a conversation. And 9 times out of 10, the guy, that's going to make the gentleman feel comfortable, and then he'll take it from there. But in my mind, she approached him. Right. Okay. She created the initial conversation. You know what I mean? Yeah. So now that's not to say a woman can't step to a guy and like, hey, I think you're attractive. I'd love to get to know you, whatever. That's fine. But I don't think a woman necessarily needs to do that. Just go up, approach the gentleman, start a conversation. That lets the gentleman know like, hey, I'm available. I'm also approachable. What you gonna do?
Okay, so I agree. I agree with what you're saying. So before we end this segment, I want to ask you another question. So there was another 2-parter to this. Shawnee O'Neal, right? And I'm gonna insert the clip somewhere in here.
We gotta be straight. People can get in their way with that because you could be missing your husband or wife because the side tooth was missing.
But she was on a podcast and she was saying that women and men, but I think she was talking more so to women, but for this conversation, women and men, she was saying that, people are very superficial and when it comes to dating, and that, you could meet a woman or a man and they're missing a whole side tooth, you know what I'm saying, or have some kind of thing like that. And then you totally disregard them and you could really be missing out on your person. What are your thoughts on that? Like, do you agree that maybe people are too superficial and that we should be more open to like kind of thinking outside the box, especially based off what you just said? Now you said, I don't know if I agree with it, but you said that there's not a lot of quality men out there. That's what you said. In terms of like comparison to women, right? And so if you believe that and that's true, do you feel like, a man missing his side tooth, or a man, let's say a man is 300 pounds, you know what I'm saying? Or a woman is 300 pounds, or, maybe they got a little limp when they walk, whatever the case might be. Do you feel like people should kind of be a little bit more open, in the dating world to really find their person?
Oh, that's a tough one. Okay. The answer is yes, but there's levels to this shit, right?
What? Yes. They should be more open.
Yes. I think sometimes you have to back off of some things to get to the ultimate goal, right? But like I said, there's levels to this.
Right.
Some things you might not be willing to back off of. I personally think that there has to be a certain level of physical attraction, right? So if there's something about that person that kind of knocks them down from whatever your level of physical attraction required is, then it's tough to overlook that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's say the gentleman or the young lady, let's say they might have a lisp. You know, a lisp. Yeah, and normally you can't deal with somebody like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and this is just an example, right?
Yeah.
But normally that's something you might not be able to deal with.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that person can still give you any and everything you want from a partner.
Okay.
Outside of that list.
Okay.
How much of a bearing does that really have on your relatability?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So again, there's levels to it. Me personally, and some people, attractiveness might not be that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
So some people, maybe that's something they can bend on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but like again, there's levels to it. You know, some things you might have to. You're not going to get that perfect person. If you're looking for that perfect person, you're probably not going to find them.
Damn. Well, I thought I was perfect. You know, y'all was perfect.
Well, I mean, of course, Meloney P is perfect. That's what the P is for.
I'm playing.
That's what the P is for. You didn't know?
You said what?
I said that's what the P is for. Perfect. You didn't know?
Good save. So like, okay, so if you was out here and you met a woman and she was perfect, you know, in your eyes, and she had a lisp, is that a no for you?
We don't work that thing out.
So that's not a no.
That's not a no for me. No, that's not a no for me. Now, do I prefer somebody with a lisp? Probably not, if I'm honest. Yeah. But I'm not going to let that block my blessing. A lisp isn't going to block my blessing.
What about a missing side tooth?
You know something? Nah, that ain't going to block my blessing either.
Really?
Yeah, it's not going to block my blessing. We're going to work that thing out.
What if they don't have dental insurance to get the tooth?
Well, I do. If we get to that level, then we're going to work it out.
Nice. What a great answer. Michael, thank you so much for coming in and being such a good sport and bussing your podcast cherry to come.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Of your answers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so good.
Mm-hmm. You're quite welcome. And after busting this cherry, let me go get a towel. I got to clean some stuff up. Too much.
Listen, like, we can't go into all the reasons why you've been eating towels. Too much. All right, y'all. So you have it there. My boo, Michael.
He's still with Pap. Yeah, he's upstairs.
What a good man. That's a good man, Savannah. Thank you for all the hoes that fucked up with him, because he is mine. I'm joking. But anyway, this one's starting to get to me. Anyway, yeah, so ultimately I agree. Women, you know, men are of a different breed now, so we got to kind of be a little bit more strategic when you are in the dating world. If you do see someone that you are interested in, you can't just be shy. Okay, days of being shy and being afraid. If you're looking for a man, if you're looking for a woman, the numbers are numbering, and the days of being shy and afraid are long gone. And so, you know, at the end of the day, pray. Let me say, pray. Pray. And if you are out here in the dating world and you're out here and you happen to go out somewhere, pray before you go. Lord, here's the desires of my heart. I desire a good man. I desire a good woman. I desire to feel like this. I want what is best for me. I want what you feel is best for me. I want the best possible outcome. And I know I'm about to, you know, go out of my comfort zone, or go out here with my girls, or go out here with my guys, and lead me to the person that you feel is the person for me. And that's a word. Lead me to the person that you feel like is the person for me, not who I want. Lead me to what you want me to be at the end of the day. At the end of the day, y'all, listen, that is the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to That's Scary with Meloney P. Make sure you guys, if you have any advice, questions, or any questions, comments, concerns, or anything, hit me up in the DM. Send an email to thatscarypodcast@gmail.com if you have any advice, questions, comments, and I will see you on the next episode.